A national wind speed record has been set in Portugal. In the United States, people froze to death in their homes. In Italy, houses collapsed from a 20-meter cliff. In Brazil, lightning struck a crowd. And these are just a few days on our planet, not the top disasters of an entire year. Canada.
Better than today's.
In Canada, this winter storm caused anomalous snowfall and extremely cold weather, which led to the paralysis of transportation, power outages, and the closure of educational institutions. On the 25th of January, 46 centimeters of snow were recorded at Toronto Pearson Airport, setting a daily record. As a result, more than 600 flights were cancelled or delayed. The total volume of snow that fell in the city over the course of the month became the highest on record for the entire observation period. After heavy snowfall, a thaw usually follows. However, this time the temperature remained very low, which only aggravated the consequences. The Canadian Red Cross set up a temporary shelter in a suburb of Montreal after thousands of residents lost electricity during the severe cold. In certain areas of the province of Saskatchewan, taking wind chill into account, temperatures felt like minus 49 degrees Celsius. On the island of Newfoundland, frazzle ice, which is a mixture of ice and water, blocked the water intake of the largest hydroelectric power plant in the region. As a result, the plant was completely shut down for the first time since 1967. To resolve the problem, divers were brought in, who worked despite the icy water and used air compressors to remove the ice. United States. At the end of January, a severe winter storm named Fern swept across the United States. 34 states, from New Mexico to Maine, were affected by a large-scale atmospheric system stretching more than 3,200 kilometers. Approximately 230 million people were exposed to the impacts of the severe weather. Heavy snowfall hit the northeastern regions of the country and the Ohio River Valley. In at least 17 states, snow cover reached 30 centimeters or more. Record values were recorded in the state of New Mexico, where more than 78 centimeters of wet snow fell near Lake Bonito, as well as in western Pennsylvania, where snow depth exceeded 50 centimeters. An extremely difficult situation also developed in the southern states, where people are more accustomed to dealing with hurricanes than with winter storms. These regions turned out to be completely unprepared for such a blow of the elements. There is no snow removal equipment, and the population lacks sufficiently warm clothing. Wet snow and freezing rain covered roads, trees, and power lines with a layer of ice up to 2.5 centimeters thick. Under its weight, wires snapped and branches and power line supports collapsed onto roadways. In the state of Mississippi, authorities were forced for the first time to use a record amount of de-icing agents to combat icy conditions. This ice storm was recognized as the most extensive in the state since 1994. Authorities in the state of New Jersey imposed a ban on the movement of commercial transport. Exceptions applied only to the transport of food, fuel, and medical cargo, as well as to emergency services and personnel of critical infrastructure facilities.
Years, up to a foot possible into the storm zone ahead of expected widespread power outages.
Air traffic also took a serious hit. More than 11,600 flights were cancelled nationwide, and over 16,000 departures were delayed. A private aircraft carrying 8 passengers crashed during takeoff at Bangor Airport in the state of Maine. At least 21 states declared a state of emergency. The consequences of the disaster proved to be extremely severe. More than 1 million consumers across the country were left without electricity at the height of the storm. In a number of cities, people lost electricity, water supply, and heating simultaneously. At the same time, a wave of anomalous cold swept across most of the United States, reaching Texas and the lower course of the Mississippi River. Taking wind chill into account, temperatures felt like minus 30 to minus 34 degrees Celsius, while actual values were 6 to 22 degrees Celsius below the climatic norm.
I think I broke it completely. trees down everywhere.
Witnesses describe these days as a true test of endurance. Residents of Memphis and Nashville said that they spent the nights in one room, wearing hats and jackets, tried to conserve phone battery power, and started their cars for only a few minutes to warm up. In Mississippi, hundreds of people spent the night in cars, stuck on icy highways, waiting for the roads to be cleared. As a result of the storm, more than 100 people died in the country. Many died from hypothermia, including in their own homes, where indoor temperatures nearly matched outdoor ones. One of the most tragic cases occurred in Texas, where 3 young brothers fell through the ice on a frozen pond. Dozens of people, including children and adults, were hospitalized with carbon monoxide poisoning. People used generators and heaters in unsafe ways while trying to keep warm. The colossal economic damage from the storm is estimated at up to $115 billion, making it the most expensive weather disaster since the fires in the vicinity of Los Angeles in January 2025. Storm Kristin. On the night of the 28th of January, a powerful Atlantic storm named Kristina hit the Iberian Peninsula. Rapidly intensifying over the ocean, it struck the coast of Portugal, becoming a true climate shock for the country. In some areas, wind gusts exceeded 180 kilometers per hour. And in the municipality of Soria, the figure reached almost 209 kilometers per hour, surpassing the record set in 2018. Across the country, the storm toppled trees and tore roofs off houses. Strong winds in the city of Figueira da Foz caused a Ferris wheel to collapse. In Leiria, the stadium sustained significant damage. In Coimbra, the storm affected several aircraft and hangars at the municipal airfield. At the aviation base in Monte Real, wind gusts also damaged F-16 fighter jets. More than 800,000 residents of the central and northern regions of Portugal were left without electricity. In several municipalities, communications, heating, and water supply were disrupted, and public transport ceased to operate. Off the country's coast, the storm raised waves up to 14 meters, creating additional danger for coastal areas and port infrastructure. As a result of the storm in Portugal, 5 people died. Moving eastward, the storm hit the southern and central regions of Spain. In Andalusia and the surroundings of Malaga, strong winds and heavy rains were recorded, which paralyzed traffic. In the city of Torremolinos, a tree fell on a house, resulting in the death of a woman. The storm near Madrid was accompanied by a sharp drop in temperature and snowfall unusual for the area. This led to school closures and traffic jams on the roads. Kristina was not an ordinary extratropical storm. It intensified explosively. Within a few hours, pressure dropped sharply, and wind speeds reached values characteristic of a Category 2 to 3 tropical hurricane. This turned Kristina into one of the strongest and most destructive winter storms in recent years on the Iberian Peninsula. Italy. On the 25th of January, a large-scale landslide occurred in Sicily. In the town of Nisemi, a popular resort with a population of about 25,000, a huge section of land broke away, and several buildings collapsed from a height of 20 meters, while hundreds more were on the verge of collapse. Seeing cracks in the walls, residents urgently left their homes without taking anything with them. More than 1,500 people were evacuated. Many stayed with relatives, and for hundreds of others, authorities opened temporary shelters in the local sports hall. It remains unknown how long they will stay there and whether they will be able to return to their homes. The situation disrupted traffic on most local roads. Schools were closed, and the town was declared a red zone. The landslide extended along the hillside for 4 kilometers and remains active. The ground continues to deform, with new cracks and collapses occurring. It is also alarming that, according to specialists, not only the visible part of the landslide is moving, The entire plateau is shifting toward the Gela Plain. Turkey. On the 30th of January, heavy rains hit the provinces of Mersin and Adana, causing catastrophic flooding. Rivers and streams in Mersin overflowed. Streets and boulevards turned into raging torrents that engulfed dozens of cars. A bridge in the Dagla area could not withstand the force of the elements and collapsed. Water poured into residential houses and agricultural lands, including flooding the building of the Alata Horticultural Research Institute. In Adana, heavy rains caused canals to overflow. In the Saraçhane district, the Buruk cemetery was completely flooded. In the Yeşiltepe area, the retaining wall of a residential building collapsed. Roads turned into nearly impassable bodies of water, where cars became stuck. In addition, the rains triggered 2 landslides in the province. One blocked the road at the Obrukbeli Pass, and the second blocked the road in the Tapan area. There were no human casualties, but the material damage was enormous. Hundreds of flooded homes and businesses, damaged roads, and destroyed infrastructure. Morocco. Heavy rains caused widespread flooding in northwestern Morocco, with the city of Ksar el-Kebir suffering the most. Due to water release from an overflowing dam and the sharp rise in river levels, powerful flows struck the city, flooding several residential areas. Authorities deployed rapid response military units to assist the affected population. More than 50,000 residents, which accounts for almost half of Ksar el-Kebir's population, were evacuated, and the main entrance to the city was temporarily closed.
Streets and fog.
Algeria. In the last days of January, vast areas of Algeria, including the capital, were hit by a destructive storm. Wind gusts in some places reached 120 kilometers per hour, corresponding to hurricane strength. Such values are considered extremely rare for Algeria, where wind speeds usually do not exceed 90 kilometers per hour. A red alert was issued in most provinces. Classes in educational institutions were cancelled, and public parks were closed. Across the country, the storm toppled numerous trees and power line supports, caused walls, roofs, and balconies to collapse, and also damaged road infrastructure. Heavy rains in several provinces caused wadi, dried-up riverbeds, to fill rapidly with water, triggering flash floods. In the province of Gilizane, livestock perished, and in several communes, people and vehicles were trapped in water. Fortunately, there were no human casualties. Brazil. In the country's capital, Brasilia, on the 25th of January, during a storm, lightning struck directly into a crowd of people gathered at a political rally. A total of 89 people were injured, 47 of them were taken to hospitals, and the rest received medical assistance on site. According to eyewitnesses, immediately after the lightning strike, several people lost consciousness. Even without visible injuries, people required medical attention due to severe shock and stress. This number of lightning strike victims was the highest in the country's history, even though Brazil records the largest number of lightning strikes in the world, about 80 million strikes to the ground annually. On the 29th of January, in the municipality of Tramandaí, on the northern coast of Rio Grande do Sul, another tragic incident occurred. Lightning struck a young man who was resting on the seashore. Despite all efforts, medical personnel were unable to save him. He died in the hospital.